The Celtics are once again sitting at the top of the Eastern Conference, and they're looking like one of only a few legitimate contenders so far this year. A big reason behind their success so far is how lethal their starting five is in a half-court setting. The five-man lineup of Jrue Holiday, Derrick White, Jaylen Brown, Jayson Tatum, and Kristaps Porzingis has the best half-court offensive rating in the NBA with 111.5 points per 100 possessions. To put that into perspective, a league average offensive rating in the half-court is only 96.8. Aside from the obvious factors of them getting Porzingis and Jrue Holiday, what exactly are they doing differently this season to be almost 15 points per 100 possessions better in the half-court than league average? How is this group able to pick teams apart so consistently? If you've watched any Celtics game this year, you've seen them use this opening set in the half-court, where they'll have Porzingis set a pin-down screen in the corner for Brown to curl off of so that they can flow into a pick and roll. The reason that this is so difficult to stop is because of the space that the Celtics create to start the possession. Right off the bat, you have Jrue, who has barely just crossed half court, White, who's still at the logo, and Tatum tucked way down in the corner. While it might be a little bit difficult to create opportunities on this side of the floor, the other side of the floor is already setting things up. Porzingis is going to set the pin down for Brown to curl like we saw in the last possession, but since Scottie is chasing Brown off the screen and Jakob drops away from the perimeter too much, Porzingis just pops to get the pass so that he can force the closeout, and then he attacks downhill for the slam. We can see a similar philosophy here on this high pick and roll between Porzingis and White. Brown, Tatum, and Jrue are flat along the baseline, with White way up high and Porzingis slipping the screen to get the feed. Now from here, Porzingis is going to initiate the DHO with Brown, once again setting him up to curl off the screen, and with the hedge from Poeltl leaving Porzingis open, he's able to get it on the roll for the finish. Another advantage is the fact that they can run these same actions regardless of who the screener is. It doesn't just have to be Porzingis. Since he's a big that has to be honored beyond the arc, he's still a viable floor spacer for the rest of the guys to work with. These corner pin downs are already lethal enough, but when you throw in Boston's use of motion strong, it takes things to another level. Initially, the Celtics are going to set up for motion strong with Tatum being the corner man, and what this does is get Barnes chasing and away from the play. The ball going to Porzingis gets Poeltl pulled up, and the Celtics flow into a Chicago action with Brown coming off the pin down from Jrue so that he can get the handoff, and then he flows into space for the pull-up mid-range jumper. In general, this usage of motion strong does a great job getting the defense to where they're having to react and make rotations, and it lets the Celtics capitalize on advantages or continue to develop them. On this play with Tatum coming off the screens, you can see Tyler Hero expecting someone to make a cut to the corner off of these screens, but all it does is force Jimmy to have to fight through both these screens, and Tatum's going to get the ball up top for probably the easiest three you could ask for. This lineup and offensive approach does an incredible job of generating two things: shots at the rim and three-point shots, which are, statistically speaking, the most efficient shots in basketball. Obviously, there are elite mid-range shooters that defy the traditional math of shots at the rim and three-pointers, but for the most part across the board, the more shots at the rim and shots from beyond the arc that a team is taking, the more efficient their offense is likely to be. Using the shot quality metric from pbpstats.com, you can see that in general, the more shots at the rim and from three that a team is taking, the higher quality shots they're going to get. So it's no wonder that the Celtics have one of the highest shot quality ratings in the NBA, considering they're taking over 75% of their shots from three and at the rim. You can still generate high quality shots in other places that aren't at the rim or from three, but these numbers are an indication that Boston is able to consistently generate high quality looks because of their offensive approach. Their offense isn't good because they're generating a lot of shots at the rim and from three. They're generating a lot of shots at the rim and from three because their offense is so good. Their volume of rim and three-point field goal attempts are a byproduct of their sound offensive approach. One of the things that this lineup does really, really well is get defenses in rotation by making quick decisions and moving frequently and with intention. On this play, we're going to get what looks like a standard pick and roll between Derrick White and Porzingis, but Porzingis is going to ghost the screen to pop out, and this is going to prompt the defense to rotate off of Tatum and onto Porzingis since the defense was prepping for a pick and roll. This is going to leave a wide open lane for Tatum to make the 45 cut, and Porzingis is going to thread it to him for 2 points. Say the defense is able to contain the pick and roll attack like the Raptors do here, with Siakam helping at the elbow on Tatum. It opens the pass to Jrue, but Siakam closes out on him to force him into a relatively crowded lane. Now the defense is in rotation because Poeltl had to sink off of Porzingis to help on the drive, and so the pass to Porzingis up top is wide open and he gets an easy spot up 3. Here, the defense actually does a good job preventing a drive by Tatum, with Embiid staying back to cover the roll by Porzingis, but nobody makes the rotation onto Jrue cutting up from the elbow. Embiid is going to close out on him, but Melton gets completely lost in the action, and Porzingis gets an easy lob for the slam. Even in early offense, they can get into some really quick hitters that create a ton of issues. Jrue's going to come and fake this screen for White, but Jrue's roll to the basket is going to serve 2 purposes. One, it's going to pull the defense back so Derrick White has more room to work with, and 2, it's going to get Lowry worried about providing help if White can get through to the rim. Now, once he has the defense collapse, he's going to kick it out to Jrue, and he finds Porzingis wide open for a catch and shoot 3. On this possession, they're going to get into that handoff curl that I went over earlier, but the guy to watch is Jrue. His defender is going to stay near the block, thinking that Avdija is going to rotate onto Jrue. Jrue replaces Porzingis on the perimeter as he rolls, and while the defense is still trying to figure out who's supposed to be on who, White finds him for the finish. The Celtics make use of these curls and screens inside the arc as well, sometimes using them off ball. This play is unique because it looks like they have 2 options. One option is going to be a flare screen for White to move to the corner, or White can set a wedge screen for Brown to come up towards the elbow to get the ball. They're going to go with the wedge screen option, and it gets Brown going downhill to get Beauchamp behind him, and it forces both Lopez and Giannis to come and provide help. Once he notices this, Porzingis is going to make a baseline cut, and Brown's going to fool Giannis with the misdirection, dumping it off to Porzingis for the easy bucket. This all isn't to say that the Celtics have become this insanely unselfish, fully egalitarian offense, but the point is that they've become a significantly more flexible offense. We can really see that in how much they're using Porzingis as both a roll man and as a post-up threat. The Celtics are doing more plays for Porzingis as a roll man this year, and they're utilizing post-ups significantly more than they did last year, and for good reason. They have Porzingis now, and it's resulted in them scoring more points per possession in these play types than they were last year. Jayson Tatum already demanded a significant amount of defensive attention, and so did Jaylen Brown, and now they added Porzingis into the mix, and it really forces the issue for opposing defenses, especially when you factor in Jrue Holiday and Derrick White, who are both competent offensive threats that can attack gaps in the defense and capitalize and develop advantages and make those necessary connective passes. After a while, it gets a little bit difficult to find a ton of glaring weaknesses in this group of 5. Just to really drive home just how good this unit has been, they're currently the 4th best 5-man half-court offense of the last decade. And they're alongside some pretty heavy-hitting offenses. It's not about the numbers necessarily, it's more about the fact that these 5 players can operate in a variety of different ways to generate a ridiculous amount of points. They're not limited to playing one way because they have the personnel to get as weird as they want. What's even more promising is how balanced they are when sharing the floor together. The scoring burden isn't being shouldered by just one individual, and everybody is doing their fair share of distributing the ball. The defense can't just hone in on Tatum or Brown. They have to be conscious of all 5 of these guys as a unit, and that's what makes them so dangerous. So what seed do you guys think the Celtics are going to finish in this year? Do you think that they're the favorites to come out of the East? Be sure to let me know in the comments below. If this is your first time visiting my channel, first of all, thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and leave a like if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more. As always, huge thank you to my patrons. If you want to become a patron, you can click that link in the description and help support the channel for only $1 a month. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.